Hey everyone, I'm in the Santa Fe, New Mexico area, and I am not sure what this cemetery is here. I do know that there's a wall back over this way, and there's another cemetery, Fairview Cemetery, and I'll have a separate video on that. But I noticed this cemetery is separated by that wall, and a little more overgrown and neglected looking just from a distance. So I'm going to make my way through here and just take a look around. I'm not exactly sure why it's like this, but this is interesting. On the other side of the Fairview Cemetery, there's a wall and a chain link fence that kind of separates it. And there's an old metal fence across the front part of this, and then a wood fence here that's just sort of falling apart. And some hoses here, right back behind this trash can, and kind of a trash dump here. I'm not sure what it is or why it's this way, but there is another cemetery here, and I suppose it's another cemetery, and I don't know if that's a marker or a piece of trash, but to me it looks like a marker, and it's all busted up. Ground that I'm walking on is really soft. My feet kind of sink in here, but there are hoses and all sorts of junk in here that's just kind of coiled up like that right there. Not sure why, but there are old graves in here. That's 1947. Well, that's a newer one, 2009, but they look older in here. See if we can spot anything else that's older. That's 1916 right there. The sun is just now coming up. I was headed towards the Fairview Cemetery, and I noticed this, so I wanted to come here first. 1961. Has a nice sturdy iron fence around it, and it may need it around here just because of the businesses or something, not so much the cattle. Look at that. Born 1860. That's a really old one. Now, I have heard that this cemetery over here, Fairview, is one that kind of dates to the 1880s. However, they have some graves that they moved from the downtown Santa Fe area that are from around 1860. Could these be the graves that they actually moved from that downtown area? If anyone is watching and they know, leave a comment below. There are still some interesting final resting places in here. Now, this looks like maybe it was an infant, and one right here maybe even. There could be a marker here. It might be a cornerstone. These are 1905 right here. The last name is Hogel or Hogel. It's a whole family plot area. Still a funeral home marker there. This is the family of Crick, K-R-I-C-K. I see a 1897, 1902, 1920, 1932. 1932 might be the newest. This looks like it's missing something off of the top, both of these. Don't see any writing on that side. Here it is on this side. Died 1891. There's a funeral home marker there. Can't imagine there being a funeral home marker like that in 1891. So, is this someone else here? That's 1892. 1893, and that's Heisey as the last name. Lines, MB Lines. This marker is just all sort of busted up. Along with this. This marker is in all sorts of pieces. I'm not even sure if it's one marker or several markers, but it does still have the funeral home one. There's nothing legible on that at all. John Matheson, and I know this is upside down, but died in 1935. There is, now these are metal. They're nice markers. This has been covered up with dirt somehow, and I don't know how exactly. There is some broken glass in there, like some liquor bottles. So maybe people come here to drink or something. A lot of these are covered up by what I think is, I don't know in this area if they've got some groundhogs or moles. To me in Oklahoma, I would think that this is moles, but don't know if they have those here or not. Some kind of critters covered it up. Now this is newer, 1993. So there are a few newer ones in here. Now there is a hole right here to some kind of animal. This has a Stein there, 1956, Paul Gentry. As you can see, there are a few other graves in this brush right there. It's pretty chilly out today. I think it's 41 degrees right now, but you can see maybe in the camera that there are a few snowflakes falling. So it is chilly. Can't really get in through there and see who that is. So I don't know. Oh, there are more. There could be people buried all through this section. I see a fenced in area over there. Huge anthill. So cold they're not even out. But see, this is the more modern cemetery, and this is still active. They're still using that cemetery. But this is some kind of separate cemetery. I don't know if it's part of that Fairview or not. That's a burial location. No name. I could be walking right over ones through here. Another anthill, I guess. But yeah, I could be walking over some and never know it. These are some more. They just basically have marked them here with pieces of marble. I don't know if they're fragments from other graves that were here, leftover pieces from a monument company, and someone gathered them just to try to mark their final resting place. I don't know if they were from the downtown area and then moved and they were unknown. I have no idea. I don't know if these funeral home markers have any kind of identification number that they could maybe trace back. Look at the size of that anthill. The thing's probably 1.5 feet tall. But there's another one right there. There are numerous ones in this cemetery. One right here that looks to be a government marker. Died in 1853, but this one says died in 1901. So I'm a little confused because they're right here next to each other, and this looks to be a third marker and a fourth marker right here. I don't understand why there's 4 all together here. I don't know if this was husband and wife. The first name looks like Katie, and the latter part of it is just all worn down where it's not legible at all. Here someone's just cut up wood from the cemetery, I guess, where it's fallen, and they've stacked it. Here's some old graves here. There are all sorts of trash piles in here. These are old VHS tapes in here. So strange. John Wayne. Old VHS tapes. It's kind of sort of a trash dump. This is an old iron fence one. Surely this cemetery was here long ago, though. Surely they didn't move all this stuff with the fence and everything. Right outside the cemetery, take a look at that. Some sort of trash dump right there. It's nasty. But here we have Cerrillos Road. It's kind of difficult to read that last part. Died in 1880, age 40. And Gustave died in 1880, and Henry died in 1880. 5 years and 4 months and 8 months right there. 1880 was obviously a rough year right there. We have a death in January, then March, then April. Wow. That's a neat marker. Here we have one that is from 1883. Look, I don't know if that's Samuel George Clark or if it's George Samuel Clark. 1883. There's a wooden cross kind of in the back part. Several wooden things right through there. This one is John, looks like Page, from 1882. There's a funeral home marker here. Couple fragments of marble and stone. So it's almost like it was just kind of pushed to the side. I don't even know what this is over here. There are what sounds like gas sounds. I don't know if you can hear that or if it's further over this way. But these are round, circular, concrete type deals here. So I don't know if there were tanks here or something, or if there's some sort of leak or a gas thing that I'm hearing. But that's a nasty trash dump. Just sort of in a triangle section here in between this cemetery and Fairview Cemetery over here. I don't know if this is, like I said, I don't know what the name of this cemetery is. I'll try to do some research and see if I can find out, and I'll list the cemetery name either in the title or the description below. But I'll probably need some help from anyone that is from the area of Santa Fe that would know about this. And could give more details why it's like this. It sort of seems to me like it's just forgotten. This is certainly neglected compared to all the other cemeteries that I've been in. Now there is a name there. It's covered up with so much growth, and it's also worn down just over time. I can't read what it says. But anywhere throughout here, there could be graves. There's a lot of trash in here, though. And lots of critter holes. I'm assuming those are probably some groundhog holes. Or not groundhog, I'm sorry, prairie dog. I think I've been saying groundhog. Well, there is a marker right there. So I don't know. It wouldn't take much to maintain this. You could keep this. There's another, I think, a prairie dog hole. I think that's exactly what that is a prairie dog hole. Haven't seen any out here, and I don't hear any. I think it's too cold. This old cactus looks like it's fixing to die, maybe. It wouldn't take much to maintain this. Someone has lost a pocket knife in here. Looks like a pretty good one. I don't know. Probably shouldn't put my fingerprints on it. Who knows what it was used for, but got proof in the video that I picked it up. Man, look how much I sank in the ground right there. Picked that knife up out here so in case anything was done with it. So there's some sort of, it looks like a granite company over here, like a countertop company. I just now noticed. Here's some paddle cactus here. But yeah, there's some sort of countertop company over there. And I don't know if they are, maybe people that have loved ones in here are picking up remnants and using them to mark graves in here. Here's a stick here. It's a new stick. That one is not legible at all. It's fallen down. Right over there is just a block, like a cinder block. There are a few more markers here. It's all sorts of remnants of like countertops, maybe. Starting to wonder if they're throwing pieces over the fence over here. That has fallen and busted, completely busted and disintegrated. You can tell that there were dates on this. Looks like 1899 right here, but the rest is just absolutely disintegrating. This one looks like one of the more maintained graves in here. Besides these larger ones over here, they look like they are. But here we have 1920 and 1913 over there. Kiesov, Kiesov, and Seifert. So these names are more, they're not really so much Spanish as they are different European names that are in here. And pretty interesting to see this, but in my opinion also very sad. They've obviously got a severe ant problem and prairie dog problem, but it has a problem as well being a trash dump. That's obviously marking something on purpose here outside of this little contained wall area. There's one right here as well. And these are laid too perfectly to not be someone. But right over there you can see remnants of old granite countertop stuff, whatever. And I guess that's their trash can right there. And then that's their company. You can zoom in if you want to give them a call, I guess. I don't know. Somehow those pieces are getting flung over here. I don't really like that. I don't know. Anyone knows any history on this? Let me know. Thanks for joining me on this little tour through this neglected cemetery. If anyone has any more information, let me know. I'm noticing more graves over this way in the front corner that I didn't even go look at. I have no idea how many are in here. I'll try to do some research, but if anyone knows, if you're from the area, leave a comment below, or if you're able to do some keyboard investigation, let me know on that. It's just kind of weird to see it this way, all this junk and trash in here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.